This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online, on DAB+, and on your smart speaker. Cristo.
On Talk Radio.
Afternoon, it's Cristo here on Talk Radio, and before we get to Wind Down Friday, just to bring you some breaking news, which will undoubtedly be something discussed later here on Talk Radio. The Joint Committee on Vaccines and Immunisations is not recommending COVID vaccines for 12 to 15-year-olds. Only those with underlying health conditions will be recommended to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Anyone else who is 12 to 15, healthy 12 to 15-year-olds, will not be recommended as taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Make of that what you will. You will have the chance to discuss that undoubtedly throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening right here on Talk Radio. There we go. Is it there? Ah, we've entered the Cristo. Yes, because it is now no background noise. Is the Cristo quite empty? Oh, we're stock taking today at the Cristo. It is, of course, Wine Down Friday. Oh, it's my favourite part of the week because it means that I get to, for journalistic reasons, drink alcohol on the radio. My two favourite drinks in the world are vodka, which we did a couple of weeks ago, and wine. I love a nice glass of wine. And joining me live in the studio is wine presenter, director of Drinkonomics Productions, Christopher Cooper, who joins me live. Afternoon, Christopher.
Afternoon, Cristo. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm very, very excited.
Very thirsty, I should think.
I'm very thirsty, very excited. I've got my list of wines right here.
After a busy week and obviously the summer that we would like to see in front of us right now.
This is, of course, last of the summer wine.
Correct.
Why is it summer wine, this? What makes us a summer wine?
Well, I just thought that as a lot of people potentially haven't been away on holiday, and a lot of people might not have been away to the islands that they might normally go away on holiday to. So these particular wines are a little flavour of the holidays that you might like. And so when you taste these wines that we didn't have, so these are the taste of the wines that you can have little holiday at home if you should like.
Okay, and so they're going to be, I've got my water, I've just been brought in a lovely glass of water because it's important to cleanse your palate.
Absolutely important.
And of course, do join the conversation as well if you're chatting along on YouTube. Oh, you've just opened one. Oh, that's my favourite sound. So what have you just poured there? Oh, are you coming over here to pour over here? I've got my own glasses over here. I don't because Ryan, the producer, stuck his fingers in my glass without permission as well, I might add.
So the first wine that we're tasting is a Vermentino, and this is from the island of Sardinia.
Sardinia, okay.
A lot of people like to go away on holiday in Sardinia, and this is a little fresh flavour of Sardinia. Very similar, you get a lot of the flavours of the sea, the sunshine, the beaches, and the soil in this particular wine. It's very expressive, I would say. So it's a really great summer wine.
That's language that I need to understand.
Okay, here we go.
Hold you. No, we're not going to drink it yet. What makes it expressive? Because someone would listen to that and say, how can a wine be expressive?
Well, there are some wines that are really boring and quite flat, and there are some wines that jump out of the glass.
So that means it's got good flavour.
Correct, yes. It's got a lot of flavour going on, but this particular wine and these particular grapes work in synergy so well that the flavour comes out a lot more in the glass. So it's almost like the flavour in the glass has been turned up to 10.
Lovely. So this is the
first one. This is the Vermentino.
Vermentino. Okay.
So this particular wine is $9.99, and this is from Majestic. And this is the Eccelsa, and Vermentino itself is quite crisp, quite fresh, quite citrusy on the finish, I would say.
Do you know, I could... Do I need to be doing that? Hang on.
You can give the Slurpee thing a try. Yes, go for it. Oh.
No. No.
Yes.
Okay. I tell you something.
Go.
I could drink a pint of that.
It's quite Moorish, isn't it?
But it's so it tastes like just a lovely fruit juice.
For me,
I'm not drinking that much at the moment, by the way. So I always end up slurring after about half a glass on this Friday, which is always great.
This is a particularly good example if you want, if you're a little bit bored of Sauvignon Blanc and you want something else that's fresh and dry and crisp, but not that sort of New Zealandy sort of style.
I have drunk myself sick of Sauvignon. I cannot drink Sauvignon Blanc. Someone brings me Sauvignon Blanc, I now consider it an insult because I have drunk myself out of Sauvignon. I find it like vinegar now. It's disgusting. Last week I tasted a couple of Chardonnays because I need flavour now, and Sauvignon is just this flavourless vinegar as far as I'm. You haven't brought Sauvignon, have you?
I have not brought any Sauvignon for you today. No. So this is Vermentino, and it works really, really well in this particular wine region of Italy. So this is Sardinia. It's also grown in a number of other places. You see it in Tuscany quite a lot as well. But this particular style is really salty, saline-y, minerally fresh sort of style, and this works really well with seafood, I would say.
I think it would work well with anything. Maybe a bit of chicken as well. It would work nicely.
I should think so. Yeah.
No, I really liked that because it was just very, very. You and your funny noises. Very, very drinkable. Very drinkable. Very smooth. Really enjoyable. And only $9.99.
Only $9.99.
$8.99 if you buy 6.
If you buy 6. Well, if you drink it by the pint, like you might do, then quite clearly one needs to buy 6.
That would be a dangerous wine for me because I would throw that back. It wouldn't be a sipping wine for me, that one. Like when you have a Chardonnay and it's quite flavoursome.
It's quite tough to get through sometimes.
Yeah, you have to. It's nice though because you sip it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
That I would throw back with gay abandon.
I think there are some wines that are real food wines, and so therefore you need a bit of food and help, to sort of get you through it a little bit more. Whereas something like this is a very quaffable, Moorish sort of a style, definitely.
Now, what is it? Acetico. Is that right? Acetico.
This is your Acertico. And this wine is from Crete.
Okay. Now, I'm not from Crete. I'm from the mainland. Okay. But I don't discriminate. I am from the Greek mainland, but yes. So this glass, is it now? I should cleanse my palate in between, shouldn't I? So that's that one.
If you feel as if you need to, you should go
move
for
that
it.
one out of the way. So we'll do this glass next.
Okay.
Get that right. So this middle one, I'll move it forward. Okay.
So this is an Acertico from Crete. Mm-hmm. It's a 2020 vintage, and Crete, obviously being an island in the middle of the Mediterranean, huge mountains in Crete as well. We don't often think about islands of the Mediterranean being quite mountainous, but this particular wine is grown at around 600 metres above sea level.
Mount Edi or Mount... Oh, this is Mount Ida, because I will never forget being in a little Suzuki with my parents going round Crete. And
there you go.
The height of the mountains is breathtaking.
It's enormous.
And frightening beyond belief when you're a small child in a very, very small car, especially when you're a fat family. You could barely fit in the car to start with. And I'll never forget that holiday in Crete.
So these particular vineyards are sort of clinging on the hillside, shall we say, of that particular mountain. And so what they then do is these particular vines bury their roots down into that rocky, really poor sort of soil.
How does that change how the grape tastes?
The grape then picks up a lot more of that sort of chalky, mineral, rocky sort of flavour. So when you taste this particular wine, Acertico is the name of the grape, and it works really, really well in Greece and works really, really well on Santorini as well, but equally on Crete.
This might be a silly question,
okay,
but is the fact as well that the grapes are higher, therefore closer to the sun, does that make a difference?
It does.
That was a very smart question, wasn't it?
It does. But equally, a bit like us, when we're at altitude, we struggle to breathe.
Oh.
So the vines themselves take a longer time to mature. And so therefore you get a wine that has taken a lot longer to get to its maturity. And so with that maturity, you get more complexity in the flavour of the wine as well. They reckon this is the Chablis of Greece, shall we say. So have a little taste of this one. See what you think. If you stick your nose in it, you'll get a lot more of those sort of mineral, of appley, almondy kind of flavours.
Oh, so it does smell, not in a bad way, a bit chalky.
Yes,
it
correct.
does.
Yeah, you're getting a lot. You're actually tasting that rock, that soil, if you like. But equally, you're tasting the dominant wind directions that come in off the Mediterranean Sea. You're tasting a lot of that kind of. Yeah,
it's a bit more. I like it. It's a bit more acidic. It's a bit more afterwards. Like this would be better for me to sip I think I preferred the other because it was much more drinkable. This I would have as a nice sort of chilled out sipping wine.
Yeah, I think this is where we touched on it earlier, where you talk about food wines. And this is something where I think you can really open up a bottle of this and it would work really, really well with wines, food generally with higher acidity or with buttery sort of flavours in there as well, because this is going to cut and refresh those kind of palates, those flavours, I would say. He's done it. You did the Slurpee thing. Excellent. Does that then increase the flavour?
Well, it does. Can you train someone on how to do that noise? So you put it in your mouth.
I do frequently.
And you sort of suck back.
Yeah.
With your lips pursed.
So you hold the wine in your mouth
Breathe
and you
through
sort
your
of
nose,
suck back, breathe through your nose, suck back, and just basically you're rolling a wine around in your mouth. So all that slurping and all that sort of movement of the wine just coats the whole mouth. So because you don't just taste with your tongue, you taste with your cheeks and the back of your throat and your olfactory senses through your nose and everything. And so therefore to do all of that.
I wish I'd done it with that one now. You do get more in it.
You get more.
This makes your eyes water a bit because it's going everywhere, right?
It certainly does. It certainly does.
Go to corners of my mouth I didn't even know I had. I like that, but I prefer the other for its smoothness. I would prefer this, as I said, for a relaxing sipping wine. Perhaps sitting. Perhaps, I don't know, you've taken me down to the beach, Christopher. You've put a little table and chairs.
Yeah.
You're romantically looking in my eyes, and then you present your Assyrtiko to me.
ABBA on the radio.
ABBA is on the radio. Yes, I still have faith in you. There's both the words from the foursome and from yourself. That is what I would expect for this wine.
Great. I wholeheartedly
Do you like that
agree.
scenario?
I'm all in. I'm fully up for that.
All right, so coming up, what are we going to be tasting when we come? Oh, we've got an expensive one coming up.
We've got a pricey one coming up, and I thought we'd finish on a bang and something really, really exciting for you.
Something tropical.
Yes.
Something tropical, salty, and minerally. So there we go. That's what we've got coming up here on Wine Down. God, it flies by Wine Down Friday, doesn't it? I mean, we barely blink, and we've already been here 15 minutes. We're going to come back, and we'll have another sip of some wine. I will give you my favourite out the three.
Excellent.
And we'll also find out what Rob Rinder's got coming up on his programme. All of that right here on Talk Radio.
This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online, on DAB+, and on your smart speaker. Cristo.
On Talk Radio.
Afternoon, it is Wine Down Friday, and very, very pleased to say that Christopher Cooper, you've entered the Cristo. This is, of course, the name of my pub.
Thank you so much.
Did you know that, Christopher?
It's a very nice place.
It's a lovely place, isn't it? Can you see the place behind us? It's a bit quiet at the moment. We're doing a stock take, and I'm contemplating some new stock, which is, of course, the wine that you have brought. And I'm being a very, very tough customer.
I can certainly help you with your wine list.
That you're selling. So I liked the Assyrtiko, which is the Cretian.
Yes.
I loved the Vermentino, which is Sardinian. But now you're going to try and lure me to the Azores.
I'm taking you away from the Mediterranean Sea, and we're moving towards the Atlantic. And this is a particular holiday island that not many people would have considered going to, but it's a really exciting place to visit. And this is the islands of the Azores. Now, for those of you who don't know where the Azores is, if you draw a line right in the middle of the Atlantic, there's a small collection of islands right there, right in the centre between us and North America. And the Azores was always famous for meetings of world leaders during the war and that sort of thing. So it makes sense that we taste some of those wines as well.
Very volcanic.
Very volcanic. Volcanic. So the soil itself is really, really quite dark, quite grey, quite black in colour. And obviously with so much wind and so much rain and weather systems that cross the Azores, the bush vines themselves are really quite small, and they pile up rocks around the vines themselves so that they don't have any effect from the wind and that sort of stuff. They need to be very protected.
Well, let's crack the bottle open because time is against us.
So this particular wine is really, really exciting. It's a blend of 3 grape varieties, and I shall pour this for you now.
Stretch over. So this is what's it called? Frigante. Frigant. Freigigant.
And this is a wine, obviously the Azores being Portuguese. This is from the main island of the Azores, which is called Pico.
Again, I'm
And the
getting almost...
Pico Wine Company, this is big, this is serious. So we're looking at volcanic soil, proper dark volcanic soil. And you can smell that in the
I
wine
can
straight
smell
away.
minerals.
Totally.
I mean, am I meant to say that then? You agree with me?
You certainly can. And this is a bit of a pricey one. This is £26. You can buy this from Vinoteca, so any of the Vinoteca shops all around London, or you can get it on their online store and get it sent to your house.
Tropical, salty, refreshing, citrusy and minerally.
Correct.
Okay.
So you've got 3 different grape varieties here, which are normally found in Portugal. So this is Arinto, Verdelho and Terrontage. So those 3 grapes are astounding in their blend, but equally astounding in their flavour profiles. And what they all bring in this harmonious flavoured wine is elegance, but full-bodiedness, shall we say.
Oh,
and
I've been described like that
spiciness.
myself. Elegant and very full-bodied. More the full-bodied than the elegant.
Spicy,
sadly.
fruity.
Spicy and fruity.
Oh, there we go. Now we keep going.
Okay.
And this particular wine is lovely. I really, really like this wine.
This
and
is absolutely lovely.
it's right up there. I mean, at
This,
the end of the day...
it's almost like, can I just say,
Go for it.
this is like a combination of the two previously.
Yes.
Just that little bit of spike to it so you can't throw it back, but the smoothness of the first, which takes the edge off it. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I love this, and there are... It's a lot smaller production in the Azores compared to what you would find in Crete and what you would find in Sardinia. So the production levels is tiny, and so therefore that's reflected in the price. And obviously the wine has to come all the way from the Azores via Portugal to come to the UK. So therefore it's quite challenging in a way that it takes to get to us, and so that's then reflected in the price at £26. However, £26. This is a push the boat out.
So this is a special occasion wine.
Super special occasion wine. But also the Azores is a very exciting place to venture on a holiday. When Portugal's, on the green list, when we can visit, it's a lovely, lovely place to go to.
No, I really like this one because it's so smooth, but it's got that little bite.
It certainly does.
Just got that little bit of bite. I found... I'm going to say something controversial here because I found the Arcetico, which was the Cretian one, was probably... I liked it, but it's probably my least favourite of the 3 because it had such a bite to it.
Yes.
Whereas this is a lovely combination. It really is.
Absolutely.
Oh,
goodness me. Here we go.
There we go. And I shall just...
Please take a seat, Rob. How are you? I'm
Nice
very
to
well.
see you.
How are you? Nice
Are we
to
having
see you.
Georgian things?
No, Georgian. We're tasting
got today?
wines from the islands
absolutely
today.
lovely.
So this is holiday island wines.
How heaven.
So you're more than welcome to grab a little cup.
Can I-
A little paper cup that's just there.
This is living the dream.
And try that one right
We
there, which
went
is
for
the
the
one that we're
most
tasting right there
expensive
at the
one
moment.
immediately.
Which is the most expensive?
The one
That
you've got
one, the
your
one you
hand
just-
on.
the
It
one you
seems
just put your hand
natural
on.
to reach and grab the most expensive.
It does in every sense.
There's a paper cup right there. You're more than welcome to grab.
Does
and
that
use.
change the... sorry, Krista.
That's
I come in, I take over...
Hijack.
Can I
Hijack
have I'll
Shanghai.
have a little top up while you're pouring.
You have a top up.
There we go.
There he is. He's a good waiter, old
Yeah.
Rob Brinder.
Exactly. It's one of my few transferable skills is pouring wine. Does it change the taste of the wine if you have it in a paper cup?
It certainly does. However, you'll still get, I would say, a good 80-90% of the wine flavour that you want.
Why is that? I mean, you see like different wine glasses. That's what presumably makes it breathe and
simply
oxygen.
because of the funnel shape of the glass accentuates all of the flavours into the nose a little bit more, but equally the paper absorbs somewhat as well.
Ooh, yes.
So this is
Lovely,
a
isn't
blend
it?
of 3
This
grape
is
varieties.
fantastic.
This is from the Azores.
Are you
And
doing
it's
that?
£26, but it's from Vinoteca.
Have you
locally.
taught Rob to do this funny tongue thing?
We did the slurpy thing.
I've been
yes.
actually on. I was saying we're old buddies. I've been on 3 wine tasting. What happened? Oh dear, gone down the wrong way.
I overslurped.
There you are. You did.
It
You
did. It happened.
I
we are
didn't
at the
remember to breathe
birth of
through
a
my
first-
nose.
Oh, there you are. Exactly. With the birth of a first moment where Cristo had a swallow. There you are. The thing about this is that I don't. Well, we were talking about it last time. I was sort of really interested in the relationship between price and taste. And it turned out
Yes.
actually it did make a difference.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is.
But then I've had some really expensive wines which are really bang average. But then you can have some wines that
This
are
bracket, though.
$5.99 from the supermarket, and you go, "That's amazing."
Anyway,
No, you
I hate to break up this little
That you can't do that.
this little wine party.
We are so fighting about that. We're a $5.99 wine that doesn't taste like paint stripper. Really?
Yes, absolutely.
This is lovely.
It is lovely.
I
Isn't
always
it?
see someone offers you a Portuguese wine. I don't know. I feel like I get nervous, and I just rather go for the places
Well,
that you've heard of.
I liked it, but I least liked the Cretian. And I'm Greek, So
Well,
there
doesn't
you go.
matter. I mean, you're allowed to be. I feel like it's one of the things you can say
No.
without being
No,
treacherous.
I am being treacherous.
It's like a
to my
British man
homeland.
saying he's
What
not
is
like
coming
real,
up?
real ale.
We've barely got any time for you to
Oh,
tell me
sorry.
what's coming up.
Well,
on Friday.
lots of serious stuff, and oddly, although
Excuse me.
I don't necessarily place football at the centre of my Tottenham Hotspur, I do. And you know, last night, looking at the horrendous scenes in Hungary, and sort of, I suppose, to some extent, the extent to which that represents something that's changed. If it's a microcosm of racism, not just in Hungary, but of course what happens on the football terraces, and that should matter to each and every one of us. And how best to respond? Is it more appropriate to just walk off the pitch and take a zero tolerance approach, or is it better to carry on playing with style as, if you like, the best and most articulate protest of all? I don't know the answer to that question. We're going to have Carlton Cole to come and talk about it. Of course, you've been talking about it in your show. I have to say very well, and I was interested in a lot of things you had to say about social care. And I've got a dad who at the moment lives in sheltered accommodation, and the complexity of how that's funded, you know, is an absolute minefield. People working all of their lives to buy a house that now has to be sold. That's something so many people correctly care. Right, outrageous, all right. But it has to be paid for somehow, and how do we do it in a reasonable way? And ABBA reunited. I don't know where to begin.
I still have faith in you, Rob.
In what sense? Oh, very good. Oh my gosh, you see, I missed it. I was doing it again. There is so much energy. There's so much like camp energy here.
It's the most. It made me. I can actually cry even just talking about it. It made me cry.
Do you know? It's funny you should say that. Another friend of mine, also in the public eye, a fellow friend of the Dorothy community, had exactly the same reaction, Krista.
My mother is. My mother was in Mamma Mia the movie. She is foaming at the mouth.
You can't just announce that as if I was just to go. What do you mean?
You've got time
we've
to
got to
talk
go.
about it.
Oh,
but
so
mother was
annoying.
in Mamma Mia the movie. She's friends with Meryl Streep. Listen, Christopher Cooper.
Anyway, by the way,
drops
what's
that
this
bombshell
Wine
at the
presenter
end.
and director.
Can I just ask this why it's called Frey Gigantes from Vinoteca?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, £26. You'll really enjoy it.
May as well have the shows just merge into
Sorry.
one going into the other.
sorry.
Thank you, Christopher Cooper. Rob
you,
Rinder
Christo.
is coming up next. I'm back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. This is my last one covering Ian Collins. He's back on Monday. Thank you, everyone, for all of your kind texts and tweets. Rob Rinder next on Talk Radio.